March 23rd, evening reading, Joshua chapters 13, 14, and 15. Land still to be taken. Joshua 13. When Joshua had grown old, the Lord said to him, "You are now very old, and there are still very large areas of land to be taken over. This is the land that remains, all the regions of the Philistines and the Gershurites, from the Shihor River on the east of Egypt to the territory of Ekron on the north. All of it counted as Canaanite. They were held by the 5 Philistine rulers in Gaza: Ashdod, Ashkelon, Gath, and Ekron. The territory of the Avites on the south, all the land of the Canaanites, from Merah of the Sidonians as far back as Zaphak, and the border of the Amorites, the area of Byblos, and all Lebanon to the east, from Baal Gad below Mount Hermon to Lebo Hamath. As for all the inhabitants of the mountain regions, from Lebanon to Mesrah-Maim, that is, all the Sidonians, I myself will drive them out before the Israelites. Be sure to allocate this land to Israel for an inheritance, as I have instructed you, and divide it as an inheritance among the 9 tribes, and half of the tribe of Manasseh. Division of the land east of the Jordan. The other half of Manasseh, the Reubenites and the Gideonites, had received an inheritance that Moses had given them east of the Jordan, as he, the servant of the Lord, had assigned it to them. It extended from Aurora on the rim of the Arnon Gorge and from the town in the middle of the gorge, and included the whole plateau of Medeba as far as Dibon, and all the towns of Sihon king of the Amorites, who ruled in Heshbon, out to the border of the Ammonites. It also included Gilad, the territory of the people of Geshur, and Mecca, all of Mount Hermon, and all Bashan as far as Salcah, that is, the whole kingdom of Og, and Bashan, who had reigned in Ashtaroth and Edrei. He was the last of the Rephaites. Moses had defeated them and taken over their land, but the Israelites did not drive out the people of Geshur and Mecca, so they continued to live among the Israelites to this day. But to the tribe of Levi he gave no inheritance, since the food offerings presented to the Lord, the God of Israel, are their inheritance, as he promised them. This is what Moses had given to the tribe of Reuben, according to its clans. The territory from Aurora on the rim of the Arnon Gorge, and from the town in the middle of the gorge, and the whole plateau east of Medeba to Heshbon, and all its towns on the plateau, including Dibon, Bamoth, Baal, Beth Baal, Meon, Jahaz, Kedemoth, Mepath, Kirathim, Sibon, Zerath, Sherah, on the hill and the valley, Beth Peor, the slopes of Pisgah, and Beth Jeshem, all the towns on the plateau, and the entire realm of Sihon king of the Amorites, who ruled at Heshbon. Moses had defeated him and the Midianite chiefs, Levi, Rechem, Zur, Hur, and Reba, princes allied with Sihon, who lived in that country. In addition to those slain in battle, the Israelites had put to the sword Balaam, son of Beor, who practiced divination. The boundary of the Reubenites was the bank of the Jordan. These towns and their villages were the inheritance of the Reubenites, according to their clans. This is what Moses had given to the tribe of Gad, according to its clans: the territory of Jezer, all the towns of Gilad, and half the Ammonite country, as far as Aurora near Rabbah, and from Heshbon to Ramoth, Mizpah, and Betomen, and from Mahamanan to the territory of Debir. And in the valley, Beth Haram, Beth Nimrah, Sokoth, and Zephon, with the rest of the realm of Shihon, king of Heshbon, the east side of the Jordan, the territory up to the end of the Sea of Galilee. These towns and their villages were the inheritance of the Gadites according to their clans. This is what Moses had given to half the tribe of Manasseh, that is, to half the family of the descendants of Manasseh, according to its clans. The territory extending from Mahanaim and including all of Bashan, the entire realm of Og, king of Bashan, all the settlements in Jar and Bashan, 60 towns, half of Gilad, and Ashtaroth, and Idari, the rural cities of Og and Bashan. This was for the descendants of Machor, son of Manasseh, for half of the sons of Machor, according to their clans. This is the inheritance Moses had given when he was in the plains of Moab, across the Jordan, east of Jericho. But to the tribe of Levi, Moses had given no inheritance. The Lord, the God of Israel, is their inheritance, as he promised them. Division of the land west of the Jordan. Joshua 14. Now these are the areas the Israelites received as an inheritance in the land of Canaan, which Eleazar the priest, Joshua son of Nun, and the heads of the tribal clans of Israel allotted to them. Their inheritance were assigned by lot to the 9.5 tribes, as the Lord had commanded through Moses. Moses had granted the 2.5 tribes their inheritance east of the Jordan, but not had granted the Levites an inheritance among the rest. For Joseph's descendants had become 2 tribes, the Manasseh and the Ephraim. The Levites received no share of the land, but only towns to live in, their pasture lands for their flocks and herds. So the Israelites divided the land just as the Lord had commanded Moses. Allotment for Caleb. Now the people of Judah approached Joshua at Gilgal, and Caleb, son of Jephunneh, the Kenizzite, said to him, "You know what the Lord said to Moses, the man of God, at Kadesh Barnea, about you and me. I was 40 years old when Moses, the servant of the Lord, sent me from Kadesh Barnea to explore the land. And I brought him back a report according to my convictions. But my fellow Israelites who went up with me made the hearts of the people melt in fear. I, however, followed the Lord my God wholeheartedly. So on that day Moses swore to me, the land on which your feet have walked will be your inheritance, and that of your children forever, because you have followed the Lord my God wholeheartedly. Now then, just as the Lord promised, he has kept me alive for 45 years since the time he said this to Moses, while Israel moved about in the wilderness. So here I am today, 85 years old. I am still as strong today as the day Moses sent me out. I'm just as vigorous to go out to battle now as I was then. Now give me this hill country that the Lord promised me that day. You yourself heard then that the Anakites were there, and their cities were large and fortified. But the Lord helping me, I will drive them out, just as he said." Then Joshua blessed Caleb, son of Jephunneh, and gave him Hebron as his inheritance. So Hebron has belonged to Caleb, son of Jephunneh, the Kenizzite, ever since, because he followed the Lord, the God of Israel, wholeheartedly. Hebron used to be called Kiriath Arba, after Arba, who was the greatest man among the Anakites. Then the land had rest from war. Allotment for Judah. Joshua 15. The allotment for the tribe of Judah according to its clans, extended down to the territory of Edom, to the desert of Zin, in the extreme south. The southern boundary started from the bay at the southern end of the Dead Sea, crossed south of Scorpion Pass, continued on to Zin, and went over to the south of Kadesh Barnea. Then it ran past Hezron up to Adar and curved around to Karka. It then passed along to Asmon and joined the Wadi of Egypt, ending at the Mediterranean Sea. This is their southern boundary. The eastern boundary is the Dead Sea, as far as the mouth of the Jordan. The northern boundary started from the bay of the sea at the mouth of the Jordan, went up to Beth Hoglah, and continued north of Beth Arabah to the stone of Bohan, son of Reuben. The boundary went up to Debir from the valley of Achor and turned north to Gilgal, which faces the pass of Adummim, south of the gorge. It continued along to the waters of En Shemshah and came out at En Rogel. Then it ran up the valley of Ben Hinnom along the southern slope of the Jebusite city, that is, Jerusalem. From there it climbed to the top of the hill west of the Hinnom Valley, at the northern end of the valley of the Rephaim. From the hilltop, the boundary headed toward the spring of the waters of Nephatoah, came out at the towns of Mount Ephron, and went down toward Baalah, that is, Kereth Jearim. Then it curved westward from Baalah to Mount Seir, ran along the northern slope of Mount Jearim, that is, Kesalon, continued down to Beth Shemesh, and crossed to Timnah. It went toward to the northern slope of Ekron, turned toward Shekeron, passed along to Mount Baalah, and reached Jabneel. The boundary ended at the sea. The western boundary is the coastline of the Mediterranean Sea. These are the boundaries around the people of Judah by their clans. In accordance with the Lord's command to him, Joshua gave to Caleb, son of Jephunneh, a portion of Judah. Kiriath Arba, that is, Hebron. Arba was the forefather of Anak. From Hebron, Caleb drove out the three Anakites, Sheshah, Ahem, and Telem, the sons of Anak. From there he marched against the people living in Debir, formerly called Kiriath Sepher. And Caleb said, I will give my daughter Achsah in marriage to the man who attacks and captures Kiriath Sepher. Othniel, son of Kenaz, Caleb's brother, took it. So Caleb gave his daughter Achish to him in marriage. When she came to Othniel, she urged him to ask her father for a field. When she got off her donkey, Caleb asked her, What can I do for you? She replied, Do me a special favor. Since you have given me land in the Negev, give me also springs of water. So Caleb gave her upper and lower springs. This is an inheritance of the tribe of Judah, according to its clans. The southernmost towns of the tribe of Judah in the Negev toward the boundary of Edom were Kebzul, Eder, Jagor, Kina, Demino, Adada, Kadesh, Hazor, Ithanan, Zeph, Telem, Bealoth, Hazor, Hadadha, Kirioth, Hezron, that is Hazor, Amam, Shema, Modah, Hazar, Gadah, Heshmon, Beth Pelet, Hazor, Shaul, Beersheba, Bizuthah, Bala, Ayim, Zem, El-Tolad, Kesel, Hormah, Ziklag, Madamana, Sanan, Son, Labeuth, Shalem, An, and Rimmon, a total of 29 towns and their villages. In the western foothills, Eshcol, Zorah, Ashna, Zeno, En-Ganem, Tepeha, Anam, Jarmuth, Adalom, Soka, Azkah, Sharim, Adiathim, and Gedera, or Gedarthium, 14 towns and their villages. Zenan, Hadesha, Migdal, Gad, Galim, Mizpah, Joktheel, Lachish, Bozkath, Eglon, Kaban, Bahamts, Kiddush, Gederath, Beth Dagon, Nama, and Megiddo, 16 towns and their villages. Libnah, Ether, Ashan, Epta, Ashna, Nezib, Keilah, Akzib, and Mareshah, 9 towns and their villages. Ekron, with its surrounding settlements and villages, west of Ekron, all that were in the vicinity of Ashdod, together with their villages. Ashdod, its surrounding settlements and villages, and Gaza, its settlements and villages as far as the Wadi of Egypt and the coastline of the Mediterranean Sea. In the hill country, Shamor, Jatir, Zoka, Dana, Karath, Sana, that is, Debir, Anab, Eshtemoth, Anim, Goshen, Holon, and Gilo, 11 towns and their villages. Arab, Duma, Eshan, Janim, Beth, Tapah, Efka, Humta, Kareth, Arba, that is, Hebron, and Zeor, 9 towns and their villages. Meon, Carmel, Zip, Juta, Zariel, Jokdim, Zanoah, Cain, Gibbe, and Timnah, 10 towns and their villages. Halahu, Bethzur, Gedor, Marath, Beth Enoth, and El Tikon, 6 towns and their villages. Karath Baal, that is, Karath, Jerem, and Rabbah, 2 towns and their villages. In the wilderness, Beth Araba, Midian, Sekaka, Nibson, the city of salt, and En-Gedi, 6 towns and the villages. Judah could not dislodge the Jebusites who were living in Jerusalem. To this day, the Jebusites live there with the people of Judah. That concludes our reading.